how you all doing? Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm filming my June wrap up. So June's reading wasn't that great. I only read 4 books in the month, but I enjoyed most of the things that I read. There's only one that I'm a bit iffy on, which was a reread, which is really unfortunate. So let's just get started with all the books that I read in June. So the first book that I read in the month of June I actually don't own a physical copy of. I read it from the library, and that is Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. This book was so hyped up on book Twitter, let me tell you. Everybody and their mother was talking about this book, and I fell into the hype and I picked it up. If you don't know what Red, White, and Royal Blue is about, it is about the Prince of England and the first son of America. And they don't really like each other, but after a fight breaks out at a wedding and footage leaks on the internet, they are forced to be together and hang out together to kind of put up a good face that they are friends and everything is fine and there's no drama or anything between them. And while they are pretending to be friends, they actually do become friends, and they see different sides of each other that they have never seen before, and they actually start to like each other, and obviously a romance ensues, and it is so good. This is a new adult book. I have seen a few people call it young adult. It's not. It's definitely new adult. And this is one of my first new adult novels that I've read. I've only read a couple before this one, and so I was a little hesitant going into it because of that fact, wondering if I would like it as much as a young adult novel or whatever. And obviously this book deals a lot with politics, as we are dealing with the Prince of England and the first son of America. There's a lot of politics that are going on within the novel, and while I typically don't enjoy reading about politics, but because I went into this book knowing that there would obviously be a lot of politics, it didn't bother me as much as it could have if I didn't know that it was present in the story. There were a couple of times where it did bother me and it kind of slowed everything down, but besides that, it didn't bother me that much. But these characters and the romance and the relationships that form throughout this book are just so precious and so beautiful, and I really enjoyed all of them. Henry and Alex are just so good together. They like worked so well, and it was a kind of a hate to love trope, although it's more of them just like pushing down their feelings for each other and not really wanting to admit that they actually like each other when they do. So it's kind of hate to love, but it's just, it was done so well. I kind of wish there was a bit more build up to the relationship. It kind of happened way faster than I thought it was going to happen. So that bothered me slightly, but just hardly. This book was just so good, so smutty, so funny. There were so many good lines in this book, and I cannot wait to get my own copy and reread it and annotate it, because there's going to be so many good annotations that I could make while reading it. Also, the dialogue in this book was stellar. Everybody on Twitter would talk about how good the dialogue was, and so I was expecting that going into it. And let me tell you, it did not disappoint. The dialogue in this book just flowed so well, and Casey McQuiston really captured what it is like when you're talking to somebody. Like, some authors don't really understand how people talk or interact over social media or texts, and Casey McQuiston just got it. It sounded so realistic, so good. There was no like really bad cliche text talk that nobody actually uses in real life. It was just so spectacular. It flowed so well, and I really enjoyed it. Another complaint that I have is the writing, and I don't even know why I feel the way that I do about the writing, but it would take me a while to get into the story and ignore the writing and just be invested in the book. For example, if I would be reading the book and I would put it down for a minute to check my phone or to go do something, and I would come back to it, the writing would like be a little bit jarring for me, and it would again take me a while to get back into the story, and I don't know why I felt that way. I'm hoping I don't feel that way when I go to reread it, but I just thought I would mention that because it is how I felt while reading it. But I still think her writing was good. I think it just took me a second to get into it. I don't know. Despite any complaints that I have, I absolutely adored this book. I think it deserves all of the hype that it gets. It is just such a phenomenal book. I definitely recommend this book, and I ended up giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. The second book that I read in the month of June was A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. This was a very impromptu reread for me. I wasn't planning on rereading this anytime soon, but me and Alyssa were talking about the movie, and it just got me in the mood to read the book because I haven't read it since 2015. This is like my favorite Nicholas Sparks movie, and so I was really excited to reread the story and re-experience the story, even though I do remember liking the movie more than the book. Basically, this book is about a guy named Landon, and he kind of your typical bad boy character, and he ends up falling in love with a girl named Jamie, who is the daughter of like the Baptist minister. And she kind of just opens up his heart a little bit and teaches him things that he wasn't expecting. And it's a cute movie, but this book, man, this book. I also decided to annotate this book, this read through, which I'm kind of regretting now because I didn't really enjoy the book, but I do have some annotations throughout the story. There were some funny moments at the beginning with Landon. Landon had some really good moments, but overall, this book was boring. It dealt with God and religion much more than the movie did. I feel like the movie touched upon it but didn't go into like detail or talk about it a whole lot. This book was just like overload, and if you guys know me at all, I don't like reading about church or God because it's not something that I personally believe in. I was forced into religion as a kid, and it's just not something that I enjoy talking about or reading about, and so that kind of put a damper on this. And Nicholas Sparks does have a tendency to talk about religion in his books because I believe he himself is a Christian, so there's that. But overall, I feel like the movie just did such a better job at executing this story and telling this story in a much more compelling way. The book was just boring, and I didn't feel connected to the characters all that much, even though I love them in the movie. Rereading this book, I do just want to like say something. I don't think I'm as big of a Nicholas Sparks fan as I once was, because even though back when I first read this, I recognized that the movie was better, but I still enjoyed the book. I can't say the same thing this time around, so I am not loving Nicholas Sparks. And then also, shortly after I finished rereading this book, some controversy came out about him on Twitter about being a homophobe and racist, which, thinking about it, makes total sense because there's no LGBTQ in his books, there's only white people in his books, so like it makes sense that he is the way that he is, but he just... Some stuff came out about him. If you want to know, just do a quick Google search, but I've decided to no longer purchase his books. I've unhauled all of his books that I haven't yet read, but I'm keeping all the ones that I have read, and I'm just holding on to them for a little bit longer, deciding if I want them or not. I will keep The Last Song because it's my favorite, but overall I've decided I don't really care about Nicholas Sparks anymore, and this book just really kind of like solidified that, so there's that. I gave this book a 3 out of 5 stars, but honestly it probably deserved a little bit less. I think I was being generous. On a brighter note, the third book that I read was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix by J.K. Rowling. So yes, I finally continued my reread from last summer, and I read Order of the Phoenix. Obviously, I'm not going to say what this book is about because you guys already know. Boy wizard goes to wizard school, has to defeat Dark Lord. We all know the story. I'm just going to talk about how I felt about the book. But I annotated this one. If you guys don't know, I am currently annotating this series. Do you guys see how many tabs are in there? Do you see how many orange tabs are in there? And if you're familiar with my tabbing system, orange means funny. Do you know how many packages of tabs I have open right now? Just because I needed more orange, because Harry is a sassy little mofo. So funny. And I just found that this book just had so many good, hilarious moments in it that I just completely forgot about. Yeah, I also made a lot of my own jokes. So some of those orange tabs are because I'm funny, not because the book's funny, because I'm funny. So there's that. But as always, I absolutely adore this story, adore these characters, and I adore annotating the book, and it just brings this extra added element of fun to reading the books. Obviously, this was a 5 out of 5 stars. It's a no-brainer from me. You guys all know I love Harry Potter. And the last book that I read was Alex Approximately by Jen Bennett. This was another reread for me. I guess this was like a rereading kind of month for me. I don't know. I read this book a couple years ago, back in 2017. It's basically about this girl named Bailey, and she ends up moving to California to live with her dad, and it just so happens that there is this boy she's been talking to online who lives in California, but she doesn't know who he is. She doesn't even know his real name. He goes by Alex on social media, and so she's kind of in California, not telling him that she is there and she has moved there, and she's trying to scout out who he is, find out who he is. Meanwhile, she's working at the museum for the summer as meets this boy named Porter. It's another hate to love situation, which I adore, and she just is so annoyed by him, but then she ends up falling in love, and she kind of has to deal with feeling like, I came here to meet this boy Alex, and I ended up falling for somebody else, and she kind of like has to deal with that. And still finding out who Alex is. It's a really adorable, cute, contemporary, fluffy book. It's just really, really enjoyable. It's such a compelling story. So cute. I don't really have much to say about it besides that I just really enjoyed it. It's the perfect summer read. So if that's like the kind of book that you're looking for right now, since we are kind of in the midst of summer, I definitely recommend this book. It was so good returning to it and re-experiencing all of the cute moments. I highly, highly enjoyed it. And I gave it a 4.75 out of 5 stars. Those are all of the 4 books that I read in the month of June. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a huge thumbs up if you did enjoy it. Comment down below what books you guys read in June, or if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. Subscribe if you have not yet already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!